My name is Natasha. My younger brother said, "Your daughter doesn't matter," after I messaged our family group chat. My daughter is in the ER. My parents said nothing. They even posted selfies at my nephew's elementary school graduation. Not a single person came to visit. I sat beside my daughter's hospital bed in the emergency room, my hands shaking as I held my phone waiting for a text, a call, anything. But the family group chat stayed silent as if nothing had happened. 2 days later, my phone started buzzing nonstop. 32 missed calls, all from my brother Patrick. One message: "Pick up now. We need you." I called him back expecting at least a question about how my daughter was doing. But no. Patrick went straight into talking about his son's tuition and money to fix our parents' car. When I didn't respond right away, he snapped, "Your daughter doesn't matter as much." I hung up and sat there completely numb. If you're listening to this story and it feels painfully familiar, please like the video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next real stories, because sometimes family drama is worse than any movie. Let me start from the beginning, from the afternoon when everything began to fall apart. That afternoon started like any other. Piper had just finished school and was buzzing with energy the way 12-year-olds do when the day feels full of possibilities. She grabbed her electric scooter from the garage, the one she'd been riding non-stop since her birthday. "Mom, I'll just do a few laps around the block." She called out, helmet already on, grinning from ear to ear. I watched her zoom off down the sidewalk, her ponytail bouncing under the helmet. The weather had been clear all morning, but a light drizzle started as she rode. I didn't think much of it. The streets near our house are usually quiet and the sidewalks are wide. I stayed on the porch, scrolling through my phone, answering a couple of work emails. Then I heard the skid. A sharp scraping sound followed by a thud that made my stomach drop. I ran toward the noise without thinking. Piper was on the ground 10 yards away, the scooter tipped over beside her. She wasn't moving at first, and for a split second my heart stopped. Then she groaned and tried to sit up. I reached her in seconds. Her left arm was already swelling, blood trickling from a deep scrape on her palm. Her knee was scraped raw through her jeans, and she held her wrist close to her body like it was on fire. "Mom," she whispered, voice shaking, "it hurts bad." I helped her up carefully, my hands trembling as I checked for worse injuries. Her helmet had done its job, no visible head wound, but she was pale, eyes wide with shock. The drizzle turned into a steady rain, soaking us both. I left the scooter on the grass, grabbed my keys, and got her into the car. The emergency room was only 10 minutes away, but it felt like an hour. At the hospital, the waiting area smelled like antiseptic and old coffee. I filled out forms with shaking hands, the pen slipping twice. Piper sat next to me, trying so hard to be brave. She kept saying, "I'm okay, Mom, really," even though tears welled up every time she shifted her arm. The nurse called us back quickly. The swelling looked serious. They took her for x-rays. I sat in the small curtained room staring at the floor. My phone was in my hand before I realized it. I opened the family group chat and typed, "Piper fell off her scooter pretty hard. We're at the ER. She's getting checked now, possible broken arm and some cuts. I'll update when I know more." I hit send. The message showed delivered. I waited for the little typing bubbles for anything. Nothing came. I told myself they were busy. It was the afternoon of my nephew Easton's elementary school graduation, a big deal they'd been planning for weeks. Still, someone would check their phone eventually. The doctor came back with the films. Clean break in the left forearm, nothing displaced, but it needed a cast. A few stitches for the deeper cuts on her hand and knee. Mild bruising on her ribs from the impact, but no concussion. They'd keep her a few hours for observation, then we could go home. Piper lay on the bed, pale under the fluorescent lights, trying to joke about how she'd get friends to sign her cast. I sat beside her, holding her good hand. My phone stayed silent. No calls, no texts. I refreshed the group chat a couple of times. My message sat there alone. Out of habit, I opened Instagram. The first story that popped up stopped me cold. It was from my mom, a selfie of her and Dad in front of the school gym, big smiles holding a bouquet of flowers. Next was Patrick's story, him and Holly with Easton in his little cap and gown, all three laughing. Then more group shots, balloons, the whole family gathered around a sheet cake. Everyone looked happy, phones in hand, celebrating. They had seen my message. They were all right there together, posting away. And no one had replied. I closed the app and turned my phone face down. Piper dozed off from the pain meds. I stayed awake, watching the monitor beep steadily, the rain tapping against the window. The hours dragged. Nurses came and went. Around midnight, they said we could leave in the morning if everything stayed stable. We got home just after dawn. Piper was exhausted, arm in a temporary splint until the full cast later that week. I helped her into bed, made sure she had water and her meds within reach. Then I checked my phone again. Still nothing. No missed calls, no worried voicemails, no, "How is she?" or "What hospital?" I made coffee and sat at the kitchen table staring at the blank screen. Piper slept most of the day, waking only for pain pills and small bites of food. I kept the phone nearby, half expecting it to ring. It didn't. By evening, the silence felt heavier than the rain outside. 2 full days would pass before anyone from my family reached out, and when they did, it wouldn't be to ask about Piper. 2 days after we got home, my phone started buzzing nonstop. I was in the kitchen making lunch for Piper when I saw the screen light up again and again. 32 missed calls, all from Patrick. No voicemails, just that one text from before. "Answer now. We need you." I stared at it for a long minute. Piper was on the couch with her arm propped on pillows, flipping through channels. Part of me hoped this was finally about her, that someone had realized how bad it was. I stepped into the hallway and called back. Patrick picked up on the first ring. Finally, he said, sounding rushed and annoyed, "Look, we're short this month. Easton's private school tuition is due next week, and it's a big chunk. Plus, Mom and Dad's car needs new brakes, shop quoted almost $1,000. Can you cover it like usual?" I waited for the question about Piper, the "how is she?" or even a quick "heard about the fall." Nothing came. He just kept talking, listing numbers, saying how stressed everyone was after the graduation party wrapped up. I didn't say anything at first. My grip tightened on the phone. He paused, then pushed. "Natasha. You there? It's not like it's a huge ask. You always handle this stuff." Still silence from me. I could hear Holly in the background asking about dinner plans. Patrick sighed, impatient. "Come on, it's not that much for you. Anyway, my boy's future is the priority here. Private school sets him up better than public ever could." The words hit like a slap, casual but sharp. He wasn't yelling. It was just matter of fact, like stating the weather. My boy's future. As if Piper's broken arm and stitches didn't count for anything. I felt something hollow open up inside my chest, a cold emptiness that spread fast. No anger yet, just this numb weight pressing down. I couldn't form words. The line stayed quiet on my end. "Natasha," he said again, sharper now. "We don't have time for this. Just say yes so I can tell Mom and Dad it's handled." I hung up without speaking. The phone slipped from my hand onto the counter. I stood there staring at the wall, breathing shallow. It wasn't the money, it never really was. It was the complete absence of care, the way he jumped straight to needs without a single glance at what we'd just gone through. From the living room, Piper called softly. "Mom, everything okay?" I walked back in slowly. She had shifted on the couch, good arm holding the remote, eyes searching my face. She must have heard raised voices, or maybe just sensed it. At 12, she's sharp like that. I sat beside her and pulled her into a careful hug, avoiding the cast. She leaned in, head on my shoulder. "Was that Uncle Patrick?" she asked quietly. "Yeah," I said, voice steady somehow. "He didn't ask about my arm, did he?" I shook my head. She didn't push for more, just stayed there with me. I held her tighter, but no tears came. It felt like something inside had gone quiet, too empty for crying. The rest of the afternoon passed in a blur. I helped Piper with homework one-handed, made simple dinner, checked her meds. My phone stayed dark. No follow-up texts. No apologies. Just the echo of Patrick's words looping in my head. By evening, I opened the group chat again out of habit. Scrolled past my message still unanswered. There were new photos from the graduation aftermath family dinner out Easton, holding a gift bag, everyone toasting. Phones visible in half the shots. They'd all been together checking messages, posting updates, and chosen not to respond. I closed the app and set the phone aside. Piper fell asleep early from the painkillers. I sat in the dim living room, the house quiet except for rain starting again outside. That call changed something fundamental. It wasn't just silence anymore. It was confirmation. I wasn't family in the way that mattered to them. I was the reliable fix when things got tight. The next morning brought no change, no outreach, no concern. Just the routine of caring for Piper, waiting for her cast appointment, and the growing realization that I couldn't keep pretending this was normal. A few days after that call, I couldn't shake the weight anymore. Piper was moving around better, but every time she winced, adjusting her cast, Patrick's words echoed louder. I decided we needed to go to my parents' house, face to face. No more texts or calls that could be ignored. As I grabbed the keys, Piper looked up from the couch. She hesitated, then asked quietly, "If I fall again next time, will anyone come, Mom?" The question hung in the air, simple and devastating. I knelt beside her. "I don't know, sweetie, but we're going to find out." She nodded, grabbed her jacket with her good arm, and we drove over together. The familiar neighborhood felt different, like the houses were watching. Mom opened the door in her usual sweater, coffee mug in hand. Her eyes flicked to Piper's cast for half a second, then back to me. No hug. No, "How's the arm?" Just a neutral. "Come in." We stepped inside. Dad was in his recliner, remote in hand, half watching a game. Patrick and Holly were there too, on the couch with takeout containers scattered. Easton played on his tablet in the corner. Dad muted the TV and looked straight at me. "So did you sort the tuition and the breaks yet?" No greeting for Piper. No glance at her sling. Straight to business. I stood in the entryway, Piper close beside me. "That's why I'm here, actually. But first, Piper's arm is broken. She needed stitches." We spent the night in the ER. Mom sat down, crossing her arms. "We know. You sent the message." Dad shrugged. "Kids fall all the time at that age. Scrapes and breaks happen." "She's walking, isn't she?" Patrick chimed in from the couch. "Yeah, it's not like it's serious. Easton's graduation was a big day. We couldn't just drop everything for a tumble." Holly nodded along, scrolling her phone. I felt heat rise but kept my voice level. A tumble. She couldn't move at first. Blood everywhere. And no one even texted to check if she was okay. Mom sighed. "Natasha, you're overreacting again. If it was life-threatening, you'd have called directly. Besides, planning Easton's celebration took weeks. We were all together." Dad added, "The boy's moving up. That's a milestone. Deserves focus." No one looked at Piper's cast again. Easton glanced up once, curious, then back to his game. I took a breath. This isn't just about the fall. It's the pattern. I'm always the one who helps, bills, rides, whatever. And when we need something, silence. Patrick rolled his eyes. "Here we go. You make it sound like we don't appreciate you. But come on, you handle finances better. It's easier for you." Mom agreed. "Exactly. And Easton's school is important for his future." Piper shifted beside me, gripping my hand tighter. I looked around the room at the family photos on the wall, mostly recent ones with Easton front and center. "I can't do it anymore." "I won't." Dad frowned. "So what, you're cutting us off over a kid's accident?" "Not over the accident," I said. "Over everything it showed me." Patrick scoffed. "You'll cool off. You always do." I didn't argue further. Turned to Piper. "Ready to go?" She nodded quickly. We walked out without another word. Mom didn't follow to the door. Dad unmuted the TV as we left. In the car, the drive home felt longer. Piper stared out the window, quiet. I gripped the wheel, mind racing through years of transfers, favors, emergencies I'd fixed without question. By the time we pulled into our driveway, clarity hit hard. I'd been their safety net, their ATM on speed dial. Reliable, because I always said yes. Invisible otherwise. That evening, after Piper was settled with dinner and a movie, I opened my banking app. Started small, canceled the auto pay for my parents' internet bundle and cable package. The ones I'd set up years ago when Dad complained about costs rising. No message explaining it. Just done. A week passed like that. No calls chasing the money Patrick wanted. Just routine at home, helping Piper adjust school, picking up again one-handed. The days after the visit dragged on with no apology, no check-in. Instead, my phone pinged with the usual requests. Mom sent a photo of the electric bill highlighted in red. Dad forwarded a pharmacy receipt for his prescriptions. Patrick texted a screenshot of the car repair estimate. All without a word about Piper or how we were doing. I ignored most of them at first. Then I canceled a couple more small things, the streaming services I'd added to their account years ago, the newspaper subscription Dad liked. Nothing major. Just testing the water. No one mentioned it right away. Life at home settled into a new rhythm. Piper's cast appointment came and went. The doctor said it could come off in a few weeks if she stayed careful. She adapted fast, figuring out how to write and eat left-handed, cracking jokes about being a pirate. One Saturday afternoon, the doorbell rang. I opened it to find Holly on the porch with her two kids, one 6, the other 4, backpacks slung over their shoulders. She smiled like it was completely normal. "Hey, quick favor," she said. "Patrick and I have this thing tonight, dinner reservation we can't miss. Can you watch them till tomorrow morning? I'll pick them up after brunch." She was already turning back to her car. The kids pushed past me into the house, shoes on, heading straight for the living room. I stepped outside. "Holly, wait. I didn't agree to this." She paused at the driver's door. "It's just one night. You're home anyway, right? Thanks, you're a lifesaver." The engine started. She waved and pulled away before I could say more. I stood on the porch a moment, keys still in hand, watching her taillights disappear. The kids were already asking Piper if we had snacks. I let them in, got them settled with a movie and juice boxes. Piper helped entertain them, showing off her cast like a badge. But inside, something snapped. This wasn't an emergency. It was assumption, pure and simple. That evening, after baths and bedtime stories, I texted Holly I didn't agree to overnight. "This can't happen again without asking first." No reply came. The kids slept fine. Holly showed up the next day around noon, thanked me casually, gathered their things, and left. No apology for the drop-off, no question about how the night went. I sat at the kitchen table after they were gone, staring at my laptop. The banking app was open. I'd been paying my parents' utilities for years, set it up when Dad had surgery and money was tight. Electric, water, gas, steady, invisible support. My finger hovered over the cancel button for the main accounts. I thought about all the times I'd covered shortfalls without being asked twice, how it had become expected. I clicked confirm on each one. Electric first, then water, gas last. No message sent, no warning. The house felt quieter that night. Piper noticed my mood but didn't pry. We made simple dinner, watched something light. I checked the app one more time, transactions stopped. A couple days later, Mom called. "Not about Piper. Did you mean to cancel the electric payment? It bounced this month." I let it go to voicemail. Dad texted a screenshot of the water bill, overdue notice. Sad emoji included. Patrick sent a longer message. "What's with the utilities? Mom's freaking out. Fix it, please. We're all stressed enough." I didn't respond. The requests kept coming for a while. Photos of empty accounts, reminders about upcoming bills. I left them unread. Piper's arm healed steadily. School friends signed her cast in colorful markers. She started talking more about plans once it came off riding her scooter again carefully this time. Weeks slipped by with that new silence from my side. No more auto payments flowing out. No explanations given. Then one evening, a neighbor mentioned my Aunt Wanda in passing. She'd said Wanda had asked about us after hearing from someone about Piper's arm. It surprised me I hadn't spoken to Wanda in years. She lived a quiet life on the edge of town, kept to herself mostly. But the mention stuck. I found her number in my contacts buried under old entries. Dialed before I could overthink it. Wanda answered on the third ring, voice warm and familiar. Natasha, goodness. It's been too long. We talked for a bit. Surface stuff at first. Then she asked about Piper, remembered her age, exactly even recalled the last time she'd seen her at a family cookout years back. How's the little one holding up with that cast? I told her the basics. She listened without interrupting, just small sounds of sympathy. Before hanging up, she said, "Come over for dinner sometime. Nothing fancy, just spaghetti and company." We went the following weekend. Her house was small, cozy, with a big backyard and an old dog that greeted us at the gate. Wanda hugged Piper carefully, mindful of the cast, and let us inside. Dinner was simple pasta with sauce from a jar, garlic bread salad from her garden. No pressure, no agenda. She asked Piper about school, what subjects she liked, if she had a favorite teacher. Piper opened up talking about art class and a project she was working on one-handed. Wanda nodded, really listening eyes on Piper the whole time. She shared stories from when Patrick and I were kids. Funny ones. Light. No complaints. No digging for details about the family tension I hadn't mentioned. After dinner, we sat on the porch. The dog lay at Piper's feet. Wanda poured iced tea and just let the quiet be comfortable. Driving home, Piper said she's nice. She actually asked about my drawing. I smiled. Yeah, she is. We went back a week later. Burgers grilled outside, corn from a farm stand. Wanda remembered Piper's favorite soda from the last visit. They played fetch with the dog while I helped set the table. Conversation flowed easy. Books, movies, little things. Piper laughed more that night than she had in weeks. Genuine laughs, not forced. The visits became regular. Once every week or two. Always casual, come as you are, bring nothing. Wanda never asked for favors, never brought up money or family drama. She just showed up with interest in us. It stood in sharp contrast to the coldness elsewhere. No demands, no assumptions. Just presence. Meanwhile, things escalated on the other side. An official letter arrived at my parents' house, a notice of lien from the HOA for unpaid fees stretching back months. Dad left voicemails I didn't pick up, voice tight with worry about credit and potential foreclosure threats. Patrick's calls, increased messages piling up. This is serious now. The lien could tank everything. You have to help sort it. I let them go unanswered. The phone stayed on silent more often. Wanda noticed the shift in me one evening but didn't pry. Just said, "Whatever's going on, you're handling it your way. That's what matters." Piper started looking forward to the visits, packing a small bag with drawing supplies. She'd show Wanda her latest sketches, get genuine feedback. The contrast grew clearer each time, the ease here versus the strain everywhere else. As Christmas approached, the group chat lit up with the usual plans. Mom posted first a photo of the menu asking who was bringing what. Dad chimed in about the ham he'd ordered. Patrick sent a list of gifts Easton wanted with links. Someone mentioned the tree decorating party at their house on Christmas Eve. Then, a direct message to me. "You're still doing the cookies and that pie, right? The kids love your recipe. And don't forget something for Easton. He's been asking about the new game." No mention of Piper's cast coming off soon. No. How are you both? Just the assumption I'd show up with contributions like always. I read it once, then left the chat on read. Blocked notifications after that. Piper and I made different plans. We accepted Wanda's invitation for Christmas dinner at her place. She said to come casual, stay as long as we liked. We arrived Christmas Eve afternoon with a small tin of store-bought treats, nothing elaborate. Wanda welcomed us with hot cocoa and a hug that lingered. Her tree was modest lights, twinkling softly, ornaments collected over decades. Dinner was homemade roasted chicken, mashed potatoes, green beans from her freezer stash. Simple, warm, no fuss. We ate at the kitchen table talking about everything and nothing Piper's school break. Wanda's garden plans for spring. Afterward, we decorated a few more branches on the tree. Piper hung paper stars she'd made. Wanda played old holiday music low in the background. Presents came later. Wanda handed Piper a wrapped box, nothing big. Inside were new sketch pencils, a pad of thick paper, and a pair of soft gloves for the cooling weather. Piper's eyes lit up. She hugged Wanda tight. My gift was a framed photo Wanda had taken on an earlier visit, Piper and me laughing in her backyard, dog at our feet. Underneath, handwritten chosen moments matter most. We stayed late driving home under clear stars. Piper fell asleep in the car, new sketchbook on her lap. Back at the old family side, things unraveled quickly. The utility cutoffs hit hard, electric shut off for 3 days over the holiday, water restricted. They managed with generators and bottled supplies, but the inconvenience piled on. The HOA lien went official, recorded against the property. Credit scores dropped for both parents. Talk of selling the house turned serious, but the lien scared off potential buyers. Patrick's messages turned desperate, then angry, then pleading. I stopped reading them entirely. Blocked the numbers when they kept coming. No more contact after that. Group chat removed. Accounts separated completely. Christmas morning at home was quiet, just Piper and me opening a few things we'd picked together. She drew with her new pencils while I sipped coffee. That evening, back at Wanda's for leftovers, we sat by the tree lights. Piper looked around the room, then at me. "I like this Christmas better," she said. I nodded, pulling her close. The lights reflected in her eyes, soft and steady.